60 Minutes Rewind.
Very few things in this country galvanize public opinion like someone trying to mess around with people's preferences in the bedroom. I'm talking, of course, about what they watch on late-night television. And NBC found that out a few months ago when Conan O'Brien, the newly installed host of The Tonight Show, quit after the network announced it was going to push The Tonight Show into tomorrow and to give its traditional time slot back to O'Brien's predecessor, Jay Leno. It triggered a lot of bad publicity for NBC, an outpouring of public support for Conan, and some of the best late-night jokes in a decade. Conan walked away with a $32 million settlement and a new cable show, and NBC did its best to push him into oblivion, legally prohibiting him from saying anything false or disparaging about the network and from giving interviews or appearing on television until now. If you're wondering what happened to Conan O'Brien and what he thinks about all of this, you're about to find out. So, what's with the beard?
The first day that I woke up and was no longer the host of The Tonight Show, I remember the first thought I had is, I am not shaving. And that was my small victory, you know. Okay, so I lost The Tonight Show, but I'll show them I'll stop shaving.
This has been quite a year.
Yeah. That's it, we're done. This was a lot of fun. This year has been is still incomprehensible to me. The amount of stuff that's happened in my life in the last year is, it's going to take me a long time to process it.
After leaving The Tonight Show in January and hanging out at his home trying to figure out what he was going to do with the rest of his life, he decided the best therapy would be to get out of the house and back to work. He assembled a lot of his old staff, opened a Twitter account.
That's the tweet.
And began planning a nationwide comedy tour, something that he had never done before, and one of the few things he was allowed to do contractually.
See how things play out.
We met up with him in Seattle.
You must have been miserable the last couple of months.
I went through some stuff and got very depressed at times. You know, it was like a marriage breaking up suddenly, violently, quickly, and I was just trying to figure out what happened. Mm-hmm. When we started putting this tour together, I started to feel better almost immediately. Mm-hmm. And then there's no better antidote to what I've just been through than to do this every night.
Ladies and gentlemen.
A little bit. Okay. Why don't you go?
You go. I can't do it.
You know, doing this tour, though, this is a huge milestone for me. This is the first time anybody has ever paid to see me. Can you believe that? Yeah. Oh, they've paid to make me go away. On the road again.
The legally prohibited from being funny on television tour has boosted his confidence, kept him relevant, and provided an outlet for him to explore his anger, disappointment, and anxiety with mostly self-deprecating humor.
My own show again. I just can't wait to have my own show again. I'd even take a primetime show that's on at 10. Anything to have my own show again.
After 40 performances in 32 cities in the U.S. and Canada, the tour will wind up next month at Radio City Music Hall in New York, right next door to NBC's corporate headquarters, where this whole late-night fiasco was cooked up.
I just want to say I couldn't be happier. You were the only choice. You were the perfect choice. You have been an absolute gentleman in private and in the press. I agree. Conan rocks. Good luck next week, my friend.
Jay, thank you for everything.
Less than 1 year after Jay Leno handed The Tonight Show off to Conan O'Brien, NBC decided to cancel Leno's disastrous primetime show and move him back into his old time period at 11:35 Eastern. Conan's Tonight Show, which was losing badly in the ratings to David Letterman, was to be bumped back to 12:05 the next morning.
Was it in the back of your mind that, look, if I don't do that well, they can just pop Leno back in?
I'm a paranoid person. And I think I'm the kind of person that can come up with lots of negative scenarios. But I remember thinking that seemed like that was a stretch, even for me.
What followed were some unpleasant discussions with NBC's West Coast brass.
It just felt like the tone went very quickly from take your time, we understand this is a tough decision, to, let's go. And that probably helped me a little bit feel like, you know what, this environment doesn't feel right. And I've been with these people a long time, and I really don't like the way this is going. And when it started to get toxic and I started to feel that I'm not sure these people even really want me here, let's just, I can't do it.
Do you think they wanted you to leave?
Yeah, that's crossed my mind. I don't know how thought out this whole thing was, but if they wanted me to leave, it worked.
This was just really, really hard for him. It was watching someone's heart get broken.
Liza O'Brien, Conan's wife, was one of his main confidants and closest advisors during the debacle.
Did you approve of everything that he did?
100%, yeah.
You thought he should have left?
Absolutely.
What do you think of the way he was treated by NBC?
From my perspective, it felt like they never really gave him the job. That they said, we're going to give you this job in 5 years, and they kept him with the company, and he said, I won't go anywhere else, and I'll keep working for you, and I'm in it for the long haul, and it felt like they lost their nerve to really make a change, and that was too bad. It was a shame, because it would have been great to see what he could have done if he had their full support and had some more time.
You've got this non-disparagement agreement.
Do you have a copy? Because I haven't read it in a while.
I have a copy somewhere in my
I keep
bag.
one in my wallet.
You do?
It'd be funny if anytime people come up to me, hey, so what's the deal with Jay Leno? Hold on a second. He's a fine and good man. There we go, put that away.
Can I assume that this interview would take a different tenor if that agreement did not exist?
No, I don't think it would. The biggest thing people come up and say to me in gas stations and restaurants, I have so many people say this to me, hey, partner, you got screwed. And I always tell them, no, I didn't. I didn't get screwed. I'm fine. It didn't work out.
Well, you did get screwed.
You think I got screwed.
Well, I think most people think you got screwed. I mean, Jay Leno thinks you got screwed. Jay Leno thinks he got screwed.
How did he get screwed? Explain that part to me. I'm sorry. Jay's got the Tonight Show. I have a beard and an inflatable bat, and I'm touring city to city. Who can say who won and who lost? I'm laughing because crying would be sad.
The story will continue after this.
Has Jay reached out to you?
No.
No calls?
No, I do not think I'll be hearing from him. We should get him in here.
We should.
Is there gonna be a surprise walk-on?
No.
Okay.
But he'd call. If you know his number, I'm sure he'd come over.
He may have caller ID. He won't pick up.
I think Leno would say, look, I was riding high. I was number one, and I was still number one when I left, and Conan made this deal with NBC, and NBC said, okay, Jay, we're going to take you off the air in 5 years, regardless of whether you're number one or number two or what. I think he felt like he was forced out by NBC at a time when he was a strong number one and was pushed out the door. That's his argument.
It's hard for me to get inside his head and argue his side of this whole thing. Here's what I can say. I'm happy with my decision. I sleep well at night, and I, hope he's happy with his decision.
Do you think that Jay lobbied for this?
I don't know, but what I know is what happened, which is that he went and took that show back.
Do you believe he acted honorably during all of this?
I don't think I can answer that. I don't think. I can just tell you maybe how I would have handled it. and I would do it differently.
You wouldn't have come back on The Tonight Show.
If I had surrendered The Tonight Show and handed it over to somebody publicly and wished them well, and then would not have come back 6 months later. But that's me, you know. Everyone's got their own, you know, way of doing things.
What would you have done?
Done something else, go someplace else. I mean, that's just me. You know,
He is equally disappointed with NBC, the company where he worked most of his adult life, and with NBC Universal Chief Jeff Zucker, who he has known since they were classmates at Harvard.
Has Zucker called you?
No.
You haven't talked to Zucker since this offer was made to you.
That's right. You know, at some point, I'm sure I'm going to bump into these people, and, you know, I'm not sure we're going to have our arms around each other and drinking beer and singing old Irish fight songs, because I don't think they know any. But, you know, I wish, this is going to sound crazy, I do wish these people well.
Jeff Zucker was quoted as saying, at the end of the day, the viewers voted, and they didn't like Conan as the host of The Tonight Show.
Can I take back what I just said?
Do you take issue with that?
In my opinion, I don't think that's fair or accurate, but he's entitled to his opinion. I think for anyone to say that the results were in after 6 months, that doesn't ring true to me.
Oh, they said that for the first time in history, The Tonight Show was losing money.
I don't see how that's, I honestly don't see how that's possible. It's really not possible. It isn't possible.
Did you expect NBC to give you more of a chance?
Absolutely. Yes.
Do you feel like it was a failure?
My Tonight Show? No, absolutely not.
Conan does agree with NBC's comments that it was a business decision motivated by money, and he acknowledges that Leno had the more expensive contract and would have been even harder to let go.
Some people have reported that NBC would have had to pay him $150 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you look at it that way, and you're working at, let's say, I don't know, you're working for General Electric, and you tell them, you know, there's this to make that guy go away, or there's this. That decision's probably pretty clear, and I think, in my gut, I honestly believe everybody knows.
Yeah.
That's what happened. They did what they had to do, and okay, I get it. And the only thing I take exception to is subsequently people saying, well, you know, Conan was losing money, and, you know, actually he was murdering cats. What? You know, whatever.
Last month, Conan finally pulled the trigger on his future, raising some eyebrows by signing on to do an 11 o'clock show for the cable channel PBS, and not with a broadcast network.
Oh, I do not look down my nose at cable, and I think anyone who does isn't paying attention to television these days, because this world is changing very quickly.
You got $30 million that you didn't have before. You got a very lucrative new gig on TBS, which has an audience that
very young audience,
custom made for you. It wasn't all bad.
That's the point I keep making. It's crucial to me that anyone seeing this take anything away from this. It's, I'm fine, I'm doing great. I hope people still find me comedically absurd and ridiculous, and I don't regret anything. I do believe, and this might be my Catholic upbringing or Irish magical thinking, but I think things happen for a reason. I really do.
I thought the Lutherans believed that.
Oh my God, it is Lutherans. Okay, I believe that if I experience any joy in life, I'll go to hell. That's what I believe. And, but you get my point.
They threw me out. It happened fast. They said, please don't let the door hit your freckled Irish ass. I hung around the house, eating frosting from a jar. I got really into Gossip Girl and sleeping in my car. Yes, I'll survive. Yes, I'll survive. Yeah, they kind of tried to kill me